Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the industry session chair training. My name is Catalina DeMasi, and I work with Meeting Management Services as a part of APEC to help run their content team. Myself and my colleague Nate Nauer are on the call today to walk you all through the session chair portal, answer any of your questions, and help show you all the differences from last year's platform, hopefully making it easier for you all to complete your duties as reviewers of these PowerPoint presentations. I will be available in the chat to answer questions. You're also more than welcome to unmute yourself and ask them throughout the process. I'd first like to introduce, before we get started, our three industry chairs. For APEC, Angus Murray, David Chen, and Deepak Varetti. I don't know if you all want to come off mute and just say a quick hello.
Hello.
Hi, this is Deepak.
Hi, this is Angus Murray here.
Perfect.
Good morning, everyone.
Well, then I will turn it over to Nate, and we can get started with the demonstration. It's mainly going to be walking you through the platform, but again, if you have questions, please feel free to write them in the chat or unmute yourself throughout the meeting.
All right. Well, welcome, everybody. Thank you, Catalina. Thank you to our chairs, our industry chairs. And some of you I've met, some of you we've interacted with at APEC in the past, and some recently, even a select group of you to do a preliminary review and give us some feedback on the reviewer portal this year. It's not going to be helpful to do a show of hands because I can't see everybody, but I guess in your mind, think of a show of hands for people who were reviewers last year. You can sort of put your hand up there, even though I can't acknowledge all of you. I know that looking at the list of names, many of you have not only been involved in APEC for a long time, but were reviewers last year. Catalina said we're going to show you all the differences of the things we've done this year versus last. We are not going to go through with a demonstration of all the things we did last year. I'm going to tell you about them. Some of you who expressed frustrations about some of the annoyances of working in the portal. First off, I want to say we really appreciate hearing that because we want to make it easier for everybody and more straightforward. So we have implemented many changes to make the process much simpler than last year. So with that said, some of you are not from last year. Some of you are new to this process. So for you, we hope that the process is easy. We hope that that we can provide good service to you if you have questions. I do know that it's simpler. And so if you're new and you have questions, if whatever, we want you to contact us at the speakers at APEC email address. And only there, because then more eyeballs are on it. Any of you who have my address are free to email me directly. So I won't speak for Catalina, but I'm sure she would answer your email, especially if you have issues as reviewers. I'm going to go through a very short and I'm say boring slide deck because this is just sort of some bullet points. And then most of the time is going to be a demo. If you have any questions throughout, I've asked Catalina to interrupt me wherever she's getting questions about things that we're going through, and we can address questions as we go. So I'm not in this case asking you to please hold all questions to the end. The purpose of this is to make you comfortable with how the portal is set up. We definitely want to hear from you if you have not received invitation credentials to the reviewer portal. And so we want to resolve that as soon as possible. Just for your information, invitations to the review portal only went out yesterday. Your invitation as a session chair to the speaker portal came weeks ago, but just yesterday were your credentials for the reviewer portal. So you didn't miss them if you were looking last week. They just came yesterday. So if in your inbox. They will be dated December 4th. With that, I'm going to go to a PowerPoint and go to presentation mode just to go through a couple.
Just to help explain one of the items Nate just talked about, that speaker portal invitation, you might not be speaking at APEC, you might only be acting as a session chair. The speaker portal invitation is so that you can appear in the mobile app and on the website. The reviewer portal doesn't have tasks like filling out a profile or a bio, and we just want to make sure we have the most accurate information for our website and mobile app this coming year. So it is important that you log into both portals and complete those tasks.
Yes, thank you, Kathleen, for that. I will ask you in this case the whole questions because I have a slide about that specifically. So welcome today to the Industry Chair Reviewer training. I'm Nate Nauer. You've met Catalina. Katya McKinnon is both the principal here and as our kind of content team lead. Rebecca's name is here. Rebecca is handling a lot of customer service. So she is the other side of the speakers at apec-conf.org inbox. And she'll filter questions to us if need be, but she is their lead customer service person. Again, with the emails, you're free to email me directly, but the speakers at APEC inbox, even though we're talking reviews today and not speaking specifically, is the best place to send your questions. We had a webinar a couple weeks back with all of the.
I don't think you'll actually see much change in inductance because they look pretty fine.
George, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I think he got it. I saw. So we had a webinar for all the uploaders, for the presenters and speakers. Some of you, and again, I'm sorry if you were there and I didn't notice you. Some of you might have been on that call because you would have been there as a presenter. Perhaps there are some reviewers who are also presenting something at APEC. Some of maybe were on just as session chairs. Today, everyone who is here, who is invited, is both an industry session chair and an industry session presentation reviewer. The portals are different, but there's one-to-one correspondence between those two things. If you are a session chair in the industry part of the program, you are a reviewer. So the roles for the industry session chair in the speaker portal, and your role and your tasks that you need to do are to update, if necessary, your profile, update your biography, upload or update a photo, and confirm registration. All four of those tasks are in the speaker portal. So if you're logged in and you're seeing those tasks, you're in the speaker side. And it is important, as Catalina said before, that you do those tasks because that's how you're going to be visible to all of the attendees at APEC on the website and on the mobile app. So we want to see that you're a session chair, and it's nice to see photos for each individual. Many of you already have profiles and biographies in the system because you've been participating in APEC for a number of years. It would be good to update those if they need to be updated. Now, as a reviewer, you only have one task, and we have simplified things this year. You only have one, and it's industry session upload approval. And as we do our demo, you'll see exactly where that is. If you're logged in and you're seeing one task and it says industry session upload approval, you're in the review portal. So as far as in total picture, the roles for APEC, for the content side of the technical program, everyone is being asked to give us a photo, a bio, and a profile, even the co-authors this year. That's co-authors of technical papers, co-authors for industry submissions. We want to know all those contributors. People at APEC and attendees want to see everyone who contributed to a particular paper. So in some cases, we just have one presenter and that's the only author. In some cases, we have a presenter and a number of co-authors. Everyone we want photos, bios, and profiles from for visibility and the benefit of all. Your presenters are uploading presentation files. For you reviewers, they are the individuals you are interacting with. Co-authors are not being asked to upload presentation files. So even though there might be a list of names associated with a particular title, only the presenter who's got the role of presenter is being asked to upload a PowerPoint. And so your interactions as reviewers are only with them. Another way to say it is you're only going to have one email per title that you need to interact with as you do the reviews. You chairs are required to confirm participation because you're not only reviewing, you are chairs expected to be there at APEC. And so on the speaker portal, there's a test to say, can you confirm your attendance at APEC? All right. So I just have, I think, important dates here. All of the presenters were given these dates on our webinar earlier for presenters, for uploaders. We had our training back on the 12th for them. Today, they were given a deadline. Now, it's not a hard deadline, but we were asking them to update their profiles, bios, and photos. One of the reasons is we want to make sure that for you, when you start reviewing, you've got the right people that you're working with. So there have been some presenter change requests put in, and that affects you because now it's a new person who's going to be uploading. This is the next date for January 10th is not a hard deadline, but it is being communicated to all industry presenters. Please get us a draft. In other words, get you a draft by January 10th. That gives you time to interact with them, review the presentations, so that you've got approximately 5 weeks to get a final version. The 14th and the 21st, finals are due on the 14th, and a PDF version of that presentation is due in the portal by the 21st. And those are sort of hard deadlines because past which it's going to be difficult to make sure those presentations are in the downloadable archive. For you, for reviewers, of course, we're on a call today. So we could say December 5th webinar. But the most important thing, whether you're here on the webinar or you're seeing this later, this week, very as soon as possible, make sure you see that reviewer invitation email in your inbox and that you followed the link to log in. I can look on the back end as well as all the industry chairs can look on the back end and see which reviewers have logged into the portal and which haven't. So we want everybody, even if they can't get started because nobody's uploaded anything yet, we want you to log in. Again, the drafts are due on the 10th. Nothing happens on the 10th if they don't have a draft in. There's no, you're out of the program, whatever. But that is the time at which, if you don't have a file to review, you want to be communicating with that presenter that I need a file from you to review. The 7th is not a hard deadline either, and it's not being communicated to everybody as this is the time when all reviews are due. But we are telling you, please try to complete your reviews by the 7th because the 14th, we're asking all presenters to have a final version in. And on the 21st, it's sort of a hard deadline to get your PDF version of your slides in. So if you wait till then to do your reviews, we're all going to be in a bind. So try to make sure you've got everything so that you can complete your reviews, communicate all information to presenters by Friday the 7th. It's just a date pick because it's 1 week before the 14th. I don't have lots of screenshot slides to take you through the portal. We're about to go do a walkthrough demo of the portal, but I wanted to show you this one screen. When you're in the speaker portal, the login screen looks like the one on the left and says, welcome to the speaker portal. As Catalina said, some of you may only be in the speaker portal as chairs proper, and you don't have any other obligations. It's just the general term for people who are contributing the attendee-facing content to our upload system. So it's what's going to show on the app. So we're calling it speaker, but some of you are but some of you's only role is chair in the speaker portal. But again, that's where you give us your photo. That's where you upload your profile and your biography. That's the left. On the right, the login is different, and it's going to say, welcome to the Session Chair Reviewer portal. I have anonymized the username and the passwords here. They are different. You have 2 access keys. That's the term the software uses, and it's just an alphanumeric string. It's 8 characters long. you're going to have a different one as a chair and a different one as a reviewer. So you're going to have 2 invitation emails. And there's nothing we can do about that. You're going to have 2 different, they're 2 different, divided by a hard wall. All right. Now, I am going to stop sharing just for a moment to get my browser windows up. And I want to take you through a demo of the reviewer portal. Are there any questions so far? See the chat? I'm not reading them all. Oh, I see a question here from Ed. I see your question about registering until you arrive at APEC. I guess we would rather you registered sooner.
My only thing is, Ed, I would highly recommend that you register earlier. The early bird discount rate does expire January 13th. If you can still promise me you won't register until APEC, I can make a note, but we do an audit every year, a couple weeks out from APEC to make sure all of our speakers and session chairs are registered. And that's when they will start emailing you a little bit more persistently, asking you to register for APEC to perform your session chair duties. So let me, I guess, get back to you on that one, but I would highly recommend to get the discounted rate registering before January 13th.
All right, so I've got this up, so I'm going to reshare here. Okay, I've got 2 tabs here, which show you the speaker side and I don't really care if you can see my email or my key. Feel free to log in as me and complete all my tasks. So if I go into my speaker portal side, everyone, this is true on the reviewer side too, by the way, you're going to see a privacy notice. It's going to be there. I'm going to skip it as an admin, but you're not going to be able to skip it. It's just letting everybody know you're using a software platform. We have your email in here. It was put into place a few years back to comply with GDPR, which is the European Data Protection Regulation. Again, we're not going over all of the speaker side, but I'm showing you this because some of you do have multiple roles at APEC, are presenters, are co-authors perhaps on papers. You're going to see on the speaker portal side all of the tasks that would relate to all the different things that you have to do. So I'm in here with test accounts, and I've got all these things about profile bio, but I've also got uploading slides because I've got test presentations in here. But this is if you're seeing something like this, you're for sure in the speaker portal side. Now, going back to here, this is the session chair reviewer portal side. Again, I'm going to skip past this. Now, we're seeing only one task. Some of you on this call, because I could see some of you are here, were chairs and reviewers for industry, dialogue, and lecture. In that case, last year, you saw 3 different tasks, and you had to click into each one and then go and find the things that are associated with that. And there was some complication involved in that. That is not the case this year. On the uploader side, there's one task that all industry and lecture presenters share: upload your slides. We're only doing this review presentation stuff, however, on the industry part of the program. So all of you should only and will only see one task, which is the industry session upload approval. Now, as you scroll down to this on this screen, there's some instructions here. You are to review these presentations for grammatical and spelling content, and it's been communicated to us, and I'm sure you understand that there is you're to discourage, and the chairs can speak more authoritatively about this, but overly commercial content in a presentation. So as far as the content, of course, grammar and spelling, but then is this just a commercial for your product or your business? That's discouraged. This is to be an industry appropriate presentation. The PowerPoint template. Last year, we had links to the PowerPoint template in multiple places. We're forcing forcing. We're encouraging everyone to go to the industry session resource page on the APEC site, and that's where the templates are. I do think we have some links in places, but they all go back to that one place, and there's one place that the templates live. If your presentation is in the PSMA part of the program, there's a separate template for you to check for, and if they're in the organic or the non-PSMA side, then it's another template. So you're checking for the correct usage of that. There is a change request form link here, just so you are aware. We have posted a change request form so that presenters can let us know the primary reason is your primary presenter changing? Is it not you, but somebody else who's going to come and present this paper? So when the technical part of the program, we're looking for one of those co-authors to be the presenter. In the industry part of the program, sometimes we don't even have that name, and it's somebody often from the same company who will say, my colleague will be presenting, and they're putting their requests in through this change request form. You don't need to bother yourself with that or submit changes yourself. We've put it in here because we want you to be aware how the presenters are sometimes submitting to us mostly personnel changes for who's going to be presenting. Now, this list at the bottom, I have a fictitious session that I'm the chair on, and it's called IS 99. There is no IS 99 in the program. So these example presentations are my only 6 to review. These progress bars are showing me, basically, there's 4 stages. No upload, I can't do anything with. You'll see at the bottom in number 6, it's in red and it's in no upload status. I'm going to click on that one first because you're going to see a screen that says, and Ed, thank you. Ed was one of our testers, so he's not really responsible to give us something for example number 6, but this red alert, nothing has been uploaded yet. I said there's nothing I can do with this, but there is one thing. If we get close to our deadline, I can click this and I can email the presenter. This is going to come to their normal inbox. It's working just like an email. The only thing different about an email sent from the portal is that it's going to come from a do not reply address. And we can't change that. We shouldn't change that because we want, when somebody gets an email about their presentation upload, we want them to follow the link in the email to come into the portal and upload. We don't, although they're free to email you and you're free to email them, as far as the portal goes, we want things to happen in the portal. And so the email is the simplest way to communicate these, what you need to do, but they're going to have a link in the email that says, well, here's what the message is, and now please follow the login link to come in and do something about it. So if you want to also see the emails that you're sending from the do not reply, then copy yourself. Copy yourself. So if I'm in here, I'll copy 8K. And now if I could spell correctly, then I will get this same email. So please upload your presentation draft. And that's the content of my email. So when I send that, and I can make it nicer and say, Ed, comma, and I could put all the things in the email. This is going to be very terse and just, is going to come to Ed's PSMA address, and it's going to come from the do not reply, and that I'm going to be copied on it as the chair. I recommend you do the copy thing, not so that you then get in a back and forth just through email and avoid the portal, but then you're getting copied on the things and it's straightforward. So, and also because we can't change that the from address is a do not reply address. All right, I'm going to go back to my list. I couldn't review a non-uploaded presentation, but I do have access to that person's email. And so that would be the thing to do with that. Now, this one, number 4, I see. Catalina, are you number 4? Oh, no, this was another one of, okay, so now I do have an upload in here. I see that this file was uploaded. I see the date and the time that it was uploaded. When I click the file, it is going to download that file to my downloads folder. So you are opening this from your own machine in PowerPoint. You are going to need a way on your computers to open PowerPoint. So if you're native Mac users and you don't have PowerPoint, it'll open in preview or something, but you are going to need a way to look at this on the software on your computer. So it's going to download. I'm going to look at it. And now let's say I'm not going to open the PowerPoint. Let's say I review it and I say, I want to make the recommendation that the uploader request a minor change. I'm going to continue. Now, what has that step done for me? It has not sent an email to the uploader saying request minor changes, because there's no content other than that. What it has done is put the review into started status. It's started. If I haven't done anything with it as a reviewer, the system doesn't know that the review has begun. So in our testing process earlier with some of you who volunteered to do that, before we just had one recommendation, which was the final decision approved, and we've changed that. We've added in the request minor and request major to give us a way to start the process. And then I'm going to, now it's gone on to the next one. I'm going to go back to this one where I've requested minor changes. It is good. I'm going to follow that up with an email. Please change, please split slide 5 into 2 separate slides. Again, I'm going to, now that was my own test, but I'm going to copy myself as the reviewing chair. And now that email is going to go to the uploader with the message about what the minor changes you are requesting. And the review is started. And now the conversation has begun. I'm going to go to another, let's see, let's go to one where I've got more than one. Let's see, number 1, let's see. Okay, in example number 1 here, I have the very latest slide deck or file, and we are asking for PowerPoint throughout here. I have the very latest one, brighter, I guess that's the way to say it. And this one underneath is grayed out. This is the previous upload. As long as the upload history gets, you're going to see it reflected here. You're going to see a timestamp for the uploads and a date stamp, and it's going to track the history of your interaction. So, if you go through 10 back and forths and 10 iterations, you should see 10 and 9 grayed out and the upper one bright. Now, if I click the one that's grayed out, is the file gone in some way? No, it's going to open in a window like this. It's going to open in a browser window. So I can download an old version from here, but I shouldn't be reviewing an old version. I should only be communicating to them about the most recent version. On their side, they are only going to be able to put one, there's not, how am I trying to say this? On the uploader side, there's only one slot at any given time for your file. And so that slot is reserved for your most recent version if you're the uploader. So you're only, if I've uploaded and my reviewer came back to me and said, hey, change slide 5, I made the change, I upload it to that same place, it is going to go over top. Now in the back end, the file history is there, but to them, they only have access in their uploader portal, speaker portal, to that one most recent version. And that's the version. You're going to get an email that says, hey, presenter uploaded a new version. You will get that email alert. And then you can go in and check it. So you can get access to older versions, but it's only one at the top that is current. So this one has now received the status of approved. If you go to the review recommendation window, this is the final status. You should not use this status until you're ready to close it out. This uploader, this author, this presenter has given you a perfect file. You're not asking for any more changes. What you just looked at, say, I looked at this latest file, everything about it's great. I go to review recommendations, say it was request minor changes before. I'm going to now make a new decision and say, approved, continue. That did trigger an email, in this case to my inbox. Let's see if it came, that said, your session has been approved. Let's see, waiting for it to come through. They are going to get an email that says, you have been approved. And there's only one other thing we're asking them to do. Convert that PowerPoint to a PDF and upload it in another task they've got. You're not going to have access as reviewers to that upload PDF task. They could upload a PDF and you don't see it. All you have a window into is the upload presentation slides, not a PDF. But for the purposes of publishing, we're asking all presenters to create PDF versions of their approved presentations and give them to us, because those are going to go for publishing purposes. Let's see. Maybe this came to another inbox. Well, I'm still waiting for it to come through. Well, I don't see it yet. I wanted to show you the example. And if and when I see it in my inbox, I will share that here. Any questions about the review recommendation and how it works? These put it in progress and this completes it. Once I go to approve status, you're done. You're done as a reviewer. You could still communicate with the presenter, but they have received a notification saying your reviewer has approved your presentation. Please convert to PDF and upload to your upload PDF for event proceedings task. And so once they do that, they're not expecting, to hear from you about changes.
Nate, there was a question in the chat that presenters are going to make revisions after approval. How does that work?
Right. So I'm going to fast forward everybody's mind to being at the event in March of next year. There is going to be a speaker ready room. We are asking all presenters across the program, except the dialogue presenters. It's not so necessary, but all the oral presentation presenters to come to the speaker ready room and review their presentations. And we're not encouraging them to update, but they are able to update. A lot of back and forth about this. Where we've come down is presenters can update a presentation if for no other reason than to correct a spelling error or something like that. So how does it work if they upload a file after you've approved it? You will still get an alert that they uploaded a new file, even though in the system the review is complete. You've approved it. You'll get an alert that they upload a new file. If you want to go and look at the file they uploaded after you approved it, you can. We're not locking them out after they're approved, and we're not locking them out because the change they might want to make is something very minor. I don't know if I'm answering your question. You can unmute if you asked it. How does it work? That's the way it's going to work. They are able to do it, and you will get an alert, and you're free to respond to them if you'd like. But once I don't know if any of the chairs want to jump in here, but once you've cleared your presentation is acceptable, there's nothing glaring and it's not overtly commercial, then it's I guess sort of the program's expectation that it would be approved. And we still have the power on the back end to communicate with presenters, and even if I don't know if somebody is acting in bad faith, they could be removed from the program. I don't guess that's the circumstance you're asking about. Like, if you want to clarify the question more about how does it work?
I think that he said that answers the question.
Okay.
That could they change their recommendation to unapproved?
Oh, great question. Yeah. So, you can, and it changes your denominator, your numerator in your how many out of how many I've got complete. It doesn't, you can, and then you have to then work it out. You still, the obligation is still on you then to communicate that to your presenter, because the only recommendation option that triggers an email to them that says you're approved is this one. So when you go into unapproved status, they don't get an email that says, "Oh, hold on, you're unapproved." The system isn't going to work that way. Yeah, the expectation is you work with them all along the way, and you do not hit the approved button and submit until it's good. So you can change it on your end to unapproved. Let's go into another one. So now I've got one completed out of, see, did I complete this other one? So now on my progress bars, this one has gone from full green into, the gray bar that's only 3/4. If I go into this one and I change it from approved to request major and continue, again, now my numerator is going to 0. I've got 0 out of 6 reviews completed. But it is incumbent on you as the chair reviewer to then follow with an email to that presenter and say, for these reasons, I'm revoking my approval, or we're requesting these further changes. It's a great question. So
are we supposed to actually track these folks down if they actually? I can
Okay,
see them
good.
making changes right up to the almost to the point where they actually present. Because to my mind, if I've approved it and it's done, my responsibility, I would assume at this point, my responsibility is done. That says I've approved this in terms of what it is. This is good to go. If you're going to make changes, sort of like 5 minutes before they actually present, I'm going to be somewhere else. I'm going to be doing different things. I can't come back to all of this stuff. I don't have I'm not going to. Personally, I'm not going to go chase presenters around just because they've made changes and done what they've done because they've got an oops or they want to do a little tweak or whatever. So how do we, as far as I'm concerned, if I approved it, it's done in that sense. I'm not going to go chasing them around, correct?
Yes, correct. And if any, I don't know if Deepak or David or Angus will comment on this, like,
Yeah.
what do you as a chair do in these?
Once it is approved, then it is good for USB proceedings, right? So that's the version that ideally we should transfer to the USB proceedings for download. Any updates after that, we can allow the updates depending on the type of updates. It could be very minor fixes here and there, but that's when once the chairs approved the content, that's more or less done.
Right. So I don't have to go back once they've actually made the tweaks and all the rest of it afterwards, which is what you're saying is there's a potential to do that. I don't have to go back and reapprove those, correct?
It's not mandatory, but we will encourage if you have the bandwidth.
If the bandwidth is there, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had a speaker who had a very overtly commercial slide, which I asked them to remove. And on the day of the presentation, they put it back in. So when they were presenting, I had to interrupt them and say, "Excuse me, can you please stick to your presentation topic?" And then he just moved on to the next slide. So that was how it was handled.
Good, very good, Ida. So one more thing that we are doing, you are aware of this, right? So we have been doing this session share service for the last 2 years. One of the motivations behind this session share service is to really flag any of the overtly commercial, presenters, and then then they will have some certain consequences for their in the upcoming APECs. When they submit any proposals. So that's the idea here. So we also encourage all the session chairs to also point out any of the people who are not complying to the APEC guidelines and who are not following any of the instructions.
The other question I've got in terms of reviewing, and maybe this is not quite the right place to do this, but you've talked about spelling errors and this, that, and the other. what is the official language of APEC? Is it English or is it American or both acceptable?
Deepak, do you want to answer?
Yeah, so we have presenters coming from diverse from areas, right? So I in the past we have been accepting both American and English. Both I've seen both.
All right, so it's acceptable for both. So
Yeah.
that's fine. Right.
Unless David and Angus, if you have any other thoughts on this.
No, I agree. Both should be acceptable.
I don't have any issue yet.
Good questions. Any other questions?
If there are no further questions, Nate, I don't know if you had anything else before we wrap up.
I'll just put, let me see. Oh, hold on a second. I'll just put this slide up again with our names and there we go. And if questions come to the speakers box and you let us know that you're reviewers, the most crucial question or the most crucial problem we want to solve right now is if you didn't, for whatever reason, it's not saying it's anybody's fault, but for whatever reason you did not get an invitation to the reviewer portal, we want to know that as soon as possible. We can resend the invitations today. I can also on the back end see who has logged in and send to all, just send them to those who haven't logged in. I don't mean to bug you. It's my only way to see, it's my only way to filter the list at the most basic level, that we've got individuals who have logged in and then we've got a list who haven't logged in. Maybe you see the emails every time and you just, you'll get to it later. And that I understand that, but your email address as we have it as a reviewer is exactly the same one we have for you as a chair. So again, back to the difference between the speaker portal and the reviewer portal. In their speaker portal, you're a chair. In the reviewer portal, you're a reviewer. Now there's a one-to-one correspondence, but that's where we got your contact info. So another major thing would be, did we not get your right email in the first place? So you never even saw an invitation to the speaker portal. So again, it's going to be the same email that we've got for you in the speaker portal is the one we use for you as a reviewer. The only thing that's different is that access key, that 8-character number. You don't need to remember that. If you have the emails, you can just click right through the invitation link on the email and it will pre-populate your data and you'll get in and see the appropriate login screen. So the most basic thing is we want to make sure everybody got their credentials and that everybody's logged in at least once. This is very early for starting reviews. There aren't many presentations uploaded yet. The screen I'm showing you of a demo, fictional presentation, we're uploading those to show you and to do the testing. But most of you are going to see red bars throughout. Nothing uploaded yet. So again, January 10th is what we're communicating for drafts. Coming up on the Christmas holidays, it's likely that you don't see anything until the first week of January. Once you get to the 10th and you don't see anything, we are asking reviewers to contact presenters. We will also be sending out emails from the speaker portal saying, because we can see on that side which industry presenters have not uploaded anything yet. And we can parse that list and send an email to them and say, please complete a draft upload by the 10th. So again, it's early, but we want you to get in there and at least make sure that you're in both sides, speaker side, reviewer side, you're seeing the right things, and that if not, we want to know because we'll want to fix that right off the bat.
A couple more questions. One is that the there is only two. There's a speaker portal and a reviewer portal, correct? There's not a third one that's talked about it being a chair portal or anything like that.
Yes, sir. So if something is ever being referred to as the chair portal, it's the reviewer portal. So it's titled the session chair reviewer portal.
Well, no,
Uh,
what
yeah.
I'm trying to say is I'm a speaker, I'm the chair and the reviewer as well. So I need to know
Oh, yes.
whether I need to do all three. And the answer is, my understanding from this presentation, I only need to have 2 credentials and 2 logins, and I do the speaker and the reviewer. And to a certain extent, I can't really review my own presentation, but that's a different problem. I understand that. The next question is, and I don't know whether this is a you question or a DPAC question, is that we've got we got an industrial presentation of 7 slots. At the moment, we've got 6 filled. I have got another 2 people that I have talked to very recently, and I can get their details put in there. How do I need a change request? Because there's basically one presentation I would like to take out, and there's those 2 that I would like to put in, one to fill the spare slot and one to actually replace the one presentation that I'm going to take out.
I'll take this question. So since this is related to PSMA, Alan, please send out the updated Excel sheet to me, and
Okay.
I'll work with Nate to get that updated. That would
All
be
right.
the
Okay.
easiest and the best solution.
All right. Perfect. I can do that.
And let me follow up with that to say what happens on my side when this interaction happens. I get it directly from Deepak and make the change. Something that happens in the back end, which if you were logged in while it's happening, it's not that you're going to see a disruption. But let me explain this. If you've got a presentation that a whole title is coming out and a new one's coming in, so it's not just the same person who's updating their title, but this is totally new, then that needs to be then removed from your list of your reviewer list. So there's a few steps that happen on the back end so that old one is gone, and then we got to get the new one in and then assign that new one to you as a reviewer. It doesn't happen. There's a number of steps. I won't go into bore you with the details of it. But when those things happen, we have to step through all the steps so that at the end, you as the reviewer now see the new thing. You've got the new person's address and everything can continue as normal. But just because a change is made in the speaker side, it doesn't instantly all update everything in the review portal. There are that's just the way the platform is, but we need to make sure that the old one's gone, unassigned, the new one comes in, it's updated, the new one is assigned, now you'll see it. So
I am sure there will be time between the time that I give Deepak the updated Excel sheet and you can go through the process of the machinations of actually going through the portal and all the rest of it and get it sorted. Especially if we get it done in the next week or so, which is what the intent was, which is why I had a conversation with Deepak on Tuesday to let him know what I was trying to do, and go from there. And I think that's what it is. The other question that then, how easy is it to change the order of those 7 in the actual session itself?
So I'll start from the back, and then maybe Deepak would want to add to this too. The order is irrelevant in the reviewer side. The order is just that's again comes to us in the program uploads from the industry chairs. What is point 1? What's point 2? What's point 3? If things get shuffled around, we change the start and end times and those decimal place numbers. That all happens on the speaker side in the database. It doesn't affect your review status. So the order, you don't handle it in the review side. You would have to communicate all of those things, those desired changes to Deepak, and it would happen just like the addition or removal of whole titles.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not really I'm trying to do both ends at the same time, which is why I'm probably confusing you. So the reviewer side of it, I'm not worried about. I'm trying to make sure we get the whole thing, because I'm new to this process. I'm trying to make sure that I get the whole thing sorted out in the right order. We get the right presentations. We get the right people doing what they're trying to do at the front end. So I load the front end correctly. And that's all I'm trying to do at the moment, is to try and get that all done before mid-December. And then we have a chance of getting it done. That's all.
No, completely understood. I guess so for anybody in a similar situation, if changes are happening to the program itself, that does take priority over getting in there and doing reviews. Again, we're early. We're December 5th. We're not asking for drafts even until January 10th. And many of you will get to your draft deadline and not, well, I don't want to be pessimistic, but some will get to their draft deadline and not have a file yet. So we're encouraging to avoid that, but yeah, everything, the program right now takes priority. Many of you, I'm sure, are aware that between submissions and acceptances and then people registering, there is a lot of shuffling that happens in the program at this time of year. So that takes
Okay.
priority first, is sorting that out.
All right. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Appreciate
yes,
it.
sir. Thank you. I hope I haven't bored you to death. We're near the end of our time. Is there anything, Catalina, that anybody else?
I had a quick question. I put it in the chat.
Oh, yes.
For the organic sessions, is there a way to get the co-chair's email in order to coordinate reviews? I would hate for my co-chair, for example, to get to the review first and approve it, and then I have to say, oh, it's not approved, there's a major change required, or the other way around. They say there's a major change required, and my co-chair says, oh, it's approved. So unless I have ability to email my co-chair and coordinate that review, it's very chaotic to the speaker.
David, do you
yeah.
want to take it or should I? I can go ahead. Okay. So there are two ways to get the co-chair email address, Ada. One is if you go to APEC website, and if you look at the IS program, there the co-chair's name are listed, and if you click on the name, there will be an option at the bottom of their biography, if they have updated their biography, that you can email your co-chair. That's one way of reaching out to your co-chair. The second option is straightforward option. You reach out to David. David has the list of all the co-chair emails, so he can give you the co-chair email address.
It does.
Thank you.
It's a great question, and it brings up the just something about the portal. The portal itself is non-discriminant about who's doing a review. We have 2 chairs per session. If we had 10 chairs per session, whoever gets there and does a review and marks it as approved, as far as the system goes, it's approved. So the coordination does need to happen, as you well said, on your end, because the system will allow either of the chairs to review, and however you want to divide it up that's up to you.
Catalina, please, can you send out the slide deck from this presentation?
Absolutely. It's going to be linked on the APEC website as well, hopefully
Okay.
by the end of this week, if not very early next week.
Oh, it's all fine. It's just that the slide deck is actually extremely useful in terms of the data that you've got in there. It's a lot easier than going through a recording to actually go through a slide deck to get that stuff.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And this, for the purpose of our demo today, our slides were very basic. Well, I'll put this
Good,
to the
thank
group
you.
now. Would you? Oh, well, sure. Would it be helpful if the slide decks were? Do you want to see a slide deck that's notated with all the screenshots, etc.?
No.
Another version, perhaps, or is merely what we? These were very basic slides. I understand that most of the nuts and bolts were in the demo, but I know
Well,
it's some people don't want to go through a video.
The reason for my question, or the reason for my request, is that the demo is beautiful in terms of being in a recording session and doing the rest of it. Trying to go through a recording session and trying to put bookmarks into a recording session is very difficult.
Yes,
So
sir.
the information you've actually got that's very basic is actually very useful, and therefore a slide deck is extremely helpful to me to actually go and find names and people and emails and those sorts of things very simply, very quickly, very easily in a slide deck.
Understood. Yes, sir.
So that's why
Thank you.
the difference between the two. And I'm just trying to be greedy in terms of trying to make my life easy. That's all.
We're glad that you are. Anybody else? Thank you all for being here today. If you have co-chairs who weren't able to make it, as Ada was saying, it is important to make contact with your co-chairs to work out how you're going to do the reviews. And again, if you know, because they're not here today, that or if they communicate with you that I wasn't on it and I didn't get my credentials, we want to know that first of all, who is having issue getting the emails and who hasn't gotten them or who is not able to log in.
Perfect. Thank you all for joining. We will have the recording and the slides both sent out shortly, as well as available on the APEC website in the coming week. We hope this was helpful, and please reach out to speakers at apec-conf.org with any questions.
It was.
Thank you very much, Nate and Kat.
Thank you all.
everybody.